Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Reality Roundup. I'm Mariama. I'm once again doing our coverage of this this week's episode of the challenge All Stars Rivals Alone. Maddie will be joining me next week, but I'm gonna have a quick recap of episode four. Interesting episode. Not too much happened. I think the most surprising thing that happened was actually the winners vote for the team that went in to compete against our perennial elimination contestants, Adam and Steve. This episode starts off where we left off on the last one with Aneesa and Ashley, with Ashley still kind of upset. It's the same night. Ashley's still upset about Aneesa's comments about the ice cube. They have a quick talk. Ashley goes and makes a phone call back home to a boyfriend who she has to tell not to use her credit card. That was kind of funny. And then I think she cools down a little bit, goes back into the room, meets up with Aneesa, and as I suspected, it was pretty quickly resolved. Aneesa didn't really have like any real malicious intent behind her words. I think Ashley is reacting as big as she is largely because she's frustrated with how Aneesa has been competing this season. Shortly after that, we get a a scene between Katie and Adam where Katie is going to teach Adam how to politic within the challenge, specifically how to react to getting voted in. Fun little scene. I don't think nothing much comes of it or will come of it for the rest of the season. That brings us to today's daily challenge. The challenge was called Pushover. This challenge was exactly like the challenge Another Trucker that we saw on season 40. And in that one, we remember the players had to propel themselves and use momentum and knock off targets on either side, on both sides of the truck. In this one, they are doing this exact same thing, swinging to either side of the truck, except one partner is on the truck and they're pushing the other partner, propelling them to the targets. And instead of knocking over the targets, the partner that is swinging must instead retrieve a ring, a hollowed ring, and bring back onto the platform, hand it to their other partner, who will then walk a balance beam and place that onto a little T-bar thing to secure the rings. The rings are worth 1 point in this one, except for there are yellow rings that are worth double. They're worth 2 points, so that in case of a tie, the team that collects the most yellow rings would win. Um, this challenge played mostly how I expected it. We see the usual suspects at the top. Devin and Leroy do really well. Amber and Fessy do really well. Dario K and Ashley do quite well. Corey and Big T do well as well too. And then surprisingly, Adam and Steve don't do too hot in this one, but all the teams that you would expect to struggle with something like this, Veronica and Katie, who are just too small and too weak. No, that's not shade, but like not strong enough to like push each other. Veronica isn't strong enough to like push Katie far enough out to collect the rings. Um, Frank and Sam struggled and only collected four rings. For the results of the challenge, Amber and Fessy and Devin and Leroy were tied. I didn't actually expect to see a tie, but Amber and Fessy and Devin and Leroy were both tied at 11 rings. So it does come down to the yellow rings where Amber and Fessy collected more rings and thus won the tiebreaker. So they're the official winners on the day. And we get back to the house to see who we're gonna vote in. So back at the house, we're hoping for a shakeup. The edit kind of alludes that there may be a shakeup. There is not going to be a shakeup. But something that I did think was interesting was Veronica and Katie talking to Adam and Steve, and Veronica basically tells them to try to leverage their position currently as these perennial vote in house vote, to kind of say to Fessy and Amber, which they do at the actual house vote. They volunteer themselves in, and then they say to Fessy and Amber, "Hey, give us a star holder, and if we win, if we send them home, we will gift you the star." This, I don't know how I feel about this, but I do believe that Adam and Steve are being earnest with this bargaining chip, right? Like I think they are so desperate for protection. not just alliance, right? Because they have two other teams in their alliances, in Nicole and Melissa's team and Veronica and Katie, but it has not worked. They're so desperate for protection from the house vote, from the arena, that I think they would like win a second star and give it up. And like, and that's what we saw. We saw this last season, in that like if two star holders won against each other and one of them won this, they could gift the star to a team. Ace was gifted a star. So we get to the at the house vote. Adam and Steve do volunteer. They make this announcement in front of everyone. I was kind of hoping that they would sort of do this on the fly, but that was a choice. After the house vote, we go to a little 80s prom themed party. At this point, I've seen enough parties out. I'm not impressed by any of them. And then to cap off the night, Sammy Joe has a little session with the girl Aneesa. That was also interesting. To the arena. We get to the arena, and of course, Adam and Steve are down there in their challenge gear, ready to compete. We know that they've had a conversation with Amber and Fessy about possibly getting Devin and Leroy in there so that they can take that star and give it to Fessy and Amber. But all they want is another star holding team down there. However, when TJ goes to our winners for their decision, Fessy and Amber have decided to send in Aneesa and Ashley. And this is perplexing for like one big reason to me is I just thought that Fessy was aligned with Aneesa and Ashley, not with Aneesa, because Aneesa was like, me and Fessy are friends. I didn't think that, but I thought Fessy and Ashley would be aligned in this game. I kind of assumed that they'd be working together. I vaguely remember them like working together in the past. So this sort of seems like, of all the teams that they could have picked, this is one of the last teams that I expected them to pick. Like I expect Nani and Turbo to be off limits. And I expect, honestly, for these two, for Fessy and Amber, Aneesa and Ashley to be off limits. But that's where we are. Again, Fessy doesn't take the deal. I don't fault him for this. With the way that the game has been going, with us just continuously throwing Adam and Steve in and then picking a weak team that they can send home, so whoever wins on the day, so that you don't have anybody in the house directly upset at you. I didn't expect a shake up here. Like I know the edit was trying to lead us to it. I didn't expect a shake up here. I was just confused by the direction that Fessy and Amber went in, because I was expecting maybe like a Shane and Devon, or like a Melissa and Nicole, who they have issues with, to be or who Amber has issues with, to be the other team down here facing Adam and Steve. Perplexing to say the least, because, and the last thing I'll say on this is, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that Aneesa and Ashley are just clear numbers for Fessy and Amber, and if not for nothing, an easy lay for either an elimination or even in the finals. But at last they're in, and this night in the jungle we're playing Downpour. This is a game where the pairs are split. One player is on the platform for the teams. One player is on a platform. One player is in the tank. The player that's on the platform has a hose, and they're pouring water onto an opposing player in the tank and trying to get water into the tank. That player in the tank has a small star-shaped shield where they can maneuver and block the water from getting into the tank. The game was played in 3 rounds, with the team that has the most water in the team that gets the most water into their opponent's tank winning. And they would switch every round, so the next player would go up, and the player who was on the platform would come down into the tank and give their try at shielding. We start off with Aneesa Aneesa in the tank, Ashley on the platform, and then Steve on the platform for Adam and Steve, with Adam in the tank. Adam struggled blocking water. It seemed like Ashley and Aneesa had a little bit of a lead. It was really close. It may have been tied, but like with a slight edge to Ashley and Aneesa at the end of the first round. And between rounds 1 and round 2, Ashley Mitchell, for some reason, decides to take her goggles off because they were bothering her and stand below a stream of water with a tiny star. And Adam just had a really good strategy, kept that hose moving. So Ashley was having to react really quickly. She couldn't really get it done. Um, and yeah, Adam just smoked her. She couldn't see. The goggles off was a bad idea, obviously. And I mean, at last, like Ashley has been complaining about Aneesa all season long. She's kind of the reason they go home here. It was Aneesa had them with a small lead, of a very minuscule lead. And I don't know that this would have played out much different if Ashley had goggles, but certainly her decision to take off her goggles put them in a much dire situation than they needed to be in. After this, we see Ashley and Anissa packing up. They're pissed, but they're reunited. They're friends. They don't hate each other anymore. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. Very bare bones episode. I don't think a lot happened. We didn't get a lot. We got a challenge that we've already seen. Again, the elimination round was too simple. And strategically, there is nothing really here to talk about. I think we're gonna have to get 6, 7, 8 episodes into the season before we see some real moves being made. Just because the people who are sitting at the top are not only protecting each other, but they are being protected by a lot of the other people in the house. Like I've been saying it all season, I don't think Nani and Turbo are going to see an elimination round unless something catastrophic happens. I don't think Amber and Fessy are going to see an elimination round if they don't want to, again, unless they throw themselves in to try to go pick off a star from somebody. But they're sitting at the top. They're the strongest physical teams. They're the strongest teams politically. They're super insulated, and they have all of the people sitting at the bottom willing to carry water for them and ensure their safety um, for some reason. But that's been all. That's all that I have. I'll be back with Maddie on for episode 5 of the challenge All Stars Rivals. So please check on that. If you like this video, please like the video. It helps us out a lot. And as always, check our description below for our playlist for the Challenge All Stars. You can also check our channel to see all of the shows that we reacted to. Leave a comment. Let us know if there are any shows, any competition reality television shows you want us to watch, recap, react to, watch live, whatever. We'll be more than happy to do that. Thank you. My name is Mariama. This is the Reality Roundup. Bye.